What's up everyone? Today I just wanted to share with you 13 things I dislike about my BMW Z4 Coupe. I didn't want to use the word hate because I feel that it's a little too strong of a word, so I'm just going to go with dislike. These are going to be very nitpicky, so let me know if you agree or disagree with everything I'm about to say in the comments below. And these will appear in no particular order. Starting with my first dislike, the rear window pit. So in the back of the coupe, where the glass meets the metal, there's a little pit that can collect water when it rains. So if you drive out of the rain and straight into your garage, the water could just sit there for days and you wouldn't even know it, if you didn't clear it out or drive it. I'm not sure about the long-term effects of the water sitting there, but it just bothers me. My second dislike, and I think a lot of owners can agree with this, is the cheap hollow plastic BMW used all over the cabin. Like when you move these vents, it feels very light and cheap. The shifter surround, it feels very hollow. The cup holders, which I actually like the design, is made of cheap plastic, which will most likely break on you. Same with the center storage latch, and the storage door feels very hollow and light. Even the climate knobs have a light, cheap feel to them, and doesn't even satisfyingly notch into place. There's just no avoiding the hard, hollow, cheap plastic all over the cabin. Here, take a listen. On to number 3, the climate ventilation knob, which is super nitpicky. My OCD doesn't like that I can have the knob point at these weird in-between positions. I feel like it should only be able to point at the icons and the middle of the icons, but the notching allows it to have like 30 positions. Like, what do these in-between positions mean? Is the ventilation position proportional to the knob? Or is it just 100% one way and then switches to 50-50 at some point in between? Who knows? There should just be 6 notched positions. Like I said, this one was super nitpicky. Number 4, another nitpick, the electronic trunk release. I don't have a problem with the lever itself. I actually think it's really cool, but how the trunk releases is my issue. When you pull up on the lever, there is absolutely no resistance, and at the top, you just get an unsatisfying electronic release noise. Preferably, I like the old school cable trunk release feel, where you get some resistance buildup, then you get none when it's free. Kind of how the hood release works. But I guess this is fine. It was probably easier for BMW to put the car together this way. Number 5, my dashboard trim. This is my personal opinion, but I really don't like this wood trim. I feel that some of the best available trims are the aluminum, carbon, black, and other directional wood trims, but this one I feel belonged to an old Jag or an old person's Mercedes, not in this sleek, sporty little car. Number 6, the ride quality. I think for most owners, you would agree that this is probably one of the roughest riding production cars you have ever driven that came out of the factory. I'm not saying this is a poor handling car, but when the roads get rough, you really feel it. And that's just how it goes. It's really dependent on the road conditions. If the roads are smooth, you would never have this complaint. But if you have beat down roads, you would really bounce around and know what I'm saying. Getting rid of your run flats really helps a lot, but what else could be done? I'll be exploring this in the future, so stay tuned for that. Number 7, the steering feel, or should I say, the lack of it. I'm not saying that I've ever driven a Porsche or anything like that, and truly understand or even experienced steering feel, but I'm pretty sure our Z4s don't have it, unless you have the M. Yes, our steering is still direct, but when watching other car reviewers and they talk about steering feel, I just don't get it. Sorry, I just can't relate there. Number 8. The rear view mirror. Okay, so this is probably the most annoying thing about the coupe. You do get used to this, but it is still a little annoying. Let me explain. So in the Roadster, or any other normal car, when you look out the back, you pretty much have no problem seeing straight back a long distance. But in the coupe, in order to do so, you pretty much can only use at max 40% of the rear view mirror. And that is because the ceiling of the car blocks off your vision. And if you want to use more of the rear window, you're pretty much looking at the ground. So you won't be able to see other cars approaching from far away. Like I said before, you do get used to this, but it is pretty stupid. Number 9, the side mirrors. I don't really have any visibility issues with the mirrors or anything like that, but I just wish it had a little bit more features with it. For example, when I put it into reverse, I wish the passenger mirror aimed down towards the ground so I could see how far away I am from the curb. I'm pretty sure other and older BMWs had this feature, so why not give it to us too? Another wish is that I wish the mirror positions were tied to the memory seat. It's just a small thing, but I just want a single button press after my wife or friend drives my car to return back to my position. It's not a huge deal, but it's just more convenient. 10. Another nitpick. The exhaust hole cutout. I don't know about you, but I feel that the hole for the exhaust is just a design afterthought. It's not only an issue with the Z4, but if you notice other BMWs from this era, like the 3 and 5 series, their exhaust design was similar. It's like they decided wherever the exhaust comes out, they would just cut a hole in the bumper, and that's it. But this isn't too much of a problem with the M models though. And when comparing to modern design, with the little fake diffusers and the black bottoms, I think it just really confirms my opinion on the exhaust hole cutout. Number 11. No true angel eyes. This is something that all BMW enthusiasts love, but they truly failed to deliver here. All they gave us was the single dim halo. I know it seems a little brighter than it is on camera, but trust me, it's not that bright. I actually got this program to be on when driving, but after looking at it, it's pretty pointless. Because during the day, light from the halo can barely be seen compared to the sunlight and all the reflection. It can only be seen when it's dark, but when it's dark, your headlights should be on. So when that happens, the halo is also barely visible compared to your low beam. And I just wished they gave us 2 bright halos that weren't of the warm color. 12. The side reflectors. I believe that this is more of a North America problem, but I don't like how the side reflector, especially the one in the rear, just seems to float there. It's just so random. I completely understand why it's there, which is because the rear taillights don't wrap around to the side where you can house a reflector, but it's still pretty random. The front one isn't so bad since it's not just floating there and more tucked into the design, but it's not as nice as the ones in Europe, where the reflectors are white. That would definitely make it more incognito on my white car, but then again, these reflectors wouldn't be as bad on a red Z4. And for the North America Z4M and some pre-facelift Z4s, the front reflector is just as bad as the rear. It just floats out there in space. Finally, 13. The last one. The long hood. I know what you're thinking. Whoa, Drew. I think you've gone crazy here with this one. But hear me out. First of all, I think it's a great looking feature of the exterior styling, but I just wanted to talk about the inconveniences that it brings. As we all know, this hood is longer than a typical hood, as you can see compared to my wife's Corolla. In the Z4, you sit like an extra foot or 2 back than a regular car. So here's where the inconveniences begin. Situation 1. This is more of a city problem. So let's say I'm oncoming traffic right now, and on the right is where my Z4 wants to come out of and turn left past the oncoming traffic. Now back into the Z4's perspective. If I want to turn left, I move out as far as I can without being hit, and I realize I still can't see anything around this bush. It could be a wall or a parked car. This is because I'm sitting further back than a regular car and almost gambling with my life every time I want to make this turn. Luckily, I'm demonstrating this in the back of a parking lot, but in a more realistic world situation, it's scary every time. Situation 2. You let your friend drive your car, and now we have to park it. All of a sudden, this is your worst enemy if you forget to tell them when to stop. This is because looking out from the windshield, you can't really tell how long the hood is, and they just aren't used to how long it is. Then this happens, Scrape City, and you can't even get mad at them because they don't know better. You just have to live with the consequences. So yeah, those were my 13 dislikes, complaints, inconveniences with the car. Let me know down in the comments section which ones you agreed or disagreed with. And as always, thanks for watching and see you next time.